What's going on, guys? Matt here with Day One Patch Media for our first ever episode of the Bias Babble. This is basically my show where I want to take my opinion and throw it out into the wilds of the internet. My opinion's also often called biased, so basically I just want you guys to, sort of tackle it in the comments, listen to it and share with your friends and all that great stuff. And today we're going to be talking about the content ID system that Twitch has actually recently implemented. Over the last about 24 hours or so, Twitch has implemented a variety of content changes and different policies and whatnot, but the biggest one that most people are freaking the heck out about is this audio content ID system. So this content ID system is similar to the one that YouTube has and sort of implemented a little while ago. Basically what it does is it will take anything that is VOD, so any of the stuff that isn't live. So after my stream, my live stream is done, basically it takes all that stuff and scans through it. And it scans through it in 30-second blocks. So it goes through this content, and then if there's something copyrighted in that 30-second block, it just mutes that entire block indiscriminately. Doesn't try to take out just the music, doesn't try to do any sort of thing with the audio levels to blank out the music and allow the narrator's voice to go through, nothing. It's just straight up gets rid of it. And I want to stress that this doesn't affect what Twitch is known for. Of course, Twitch is known for live streaming games, and it doesn't affect the live content. It only affects the VOD or the after it's live content on there. And of course, people are freaking out about this, and it's flagging things incorrectly. According to a lot of people, it's flagging a lot of things such as sound effects, and it's flagging a lot of stuff like this. And as you remember, if you're a YouTube viewer, of course, or a regular at YouTube, especially in the gaming section, their content ID system went over a sort of overhaul, I believe last holiday season around that time, where basically it was flagging a bunch of stuff. It was flagging a lot of gameplay videos and whatnot. A lot of people were saying that gaming is dead on YouTube and all that stuff, and there was a lot of fighting and stuff like that. And this is a very similar situation. And I'm gonna be honest here, I really did see it coming. I really did see it. I'm not really on Twitch all that much, but I have seen it, and I have a lot of friends that listen to it and all that great stuff. And right when I saw it, I saw people streaming music and all that great stuff, and I'm like, oh man, why the heck aren't they being flagged? You know what I mean? Why the heck aren't they being flagged? What the heck's going on here? And of course, bam, now it happened. And of course, a lot of people are blaming this on a potential Google, YouTube sort of takeover and all this stuff, and like whatever the heck's going on here. And you know what? None of that stuff's been confirmed. All that's rumor, speculation, all that stuff. But in reality, I mean, we have a problem where Twitch is actually just enforcing the copyright laws. Technically, the copyright laws, they don't want you broadcasting music, and they don't want you going through and like sharing music and all that stuff and whatnot. And to be honest, I mean, yes, it's annoying. Yes, I'm annoyed at Twitch, of course. Yes, I was annoyed at YouTube back in the day and all that. But the thing is that we need to, I think, as a sort of group of this new generation of content creators, I think we need to really kind of tackle the root of the issue rather than attacking Twitch, rather than attacking YouTube. Yes, have your voices heard. Yes, talk to them and all that. But we really need to sort of tackle the issue of the music industry. And what I mean by that is that the music industry has a very old outlook on laws, has a very old outlook on copyrights. And basically those laws and those copyrights are kind of, they're not really stuck in stone, but pretty much they are. And basically, they're very, very sort of stuck up, as a lot of people would say. And it basically makes it so that, as I said before, you're not allowed to, like, share your content. You're not allowed to, like, if I buy a song, I'm not supposed to share. I'm not supposed to distribute it. I'm not supposed to sell it, of course. That's really bad. I'm not supposed to do any of that sort of stuff. But what I think we need to do is we need to go to them and we need to say, hey, guys, we have this new sort of content generation. Let's set up, like, a little corner case. Let's set up a side area here, and let's say, okay, YouTube creators, Twitch creators, other streaming creators, and whatnot. Let's set up some guidelines. Let's set up some new rules for them. Yes, I don't want people selling the songs and whatnot, but I mean, basically their songs and their music and their sound effects are getting exposure through these content creators for free. Yes, these content creators are being paid through ads and whatnot and that, but they themselves, that record label is not paying that YouTuber, that Twitch streamer, etc. directly. And what I think what we really need to do is just go to them. And this may never happen. I really don't think it will ever happen, but this may never happen. I really think we need to have a professional conversation with them, sit down, it's going to take a few years. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight. We're just going to be like, okay, we need some regulations set in place. We need some new corner cases and all that stuff, and just kind of sort this stuff out. Now, one of the other things that I really want to talk about too is this content ID system in itself. Now, if you listen to the podcast a lot, you guys know that I really hate patches. I hate patches, and I really like when things get fixed. So patches are great in that respect, but I really hate the reliance on patches and hot fixes and all that stuff that we have today in the industry today. We have this trend where we release a product, it's not finished, and then we're like, all right, great, whatever, and then we just kind of like throw it out there into the wild, and then we just like patch it to death later on. And the first release either doesn't work very well, or like doesn't function nearly close to what it said in the advertisement or whatever. And that really, really irritates me. And I realized that this Content ID system wasn't advertised, and it wasn't advertised, and it wasn't shown off or anything like that, and it was just kind of abruptly implemented. But I think that with these little glitches that people are having, so things being flagged that shouldn't be, or sound effects being flagged and whatnot, I think what needed to happen here, and this goes back to my patch thing that I was talking about before, I really think that what needed to happen was that they needed to come out with a blog post or a notification saying, hey guys, we're having this Content ID system that's coming out in a couple weeks or a couple days or whatever. I want to have an open forum. I think Twitch should have did this, and I think YouTube probably should have did this too when it changed the rules around. I want to have an open forum. I want to have an open forum where you guys can talk to me. Now, yes, you're going to get a lot of these people raging and yelling and screaming and fighting and all this stuff saying it's terrible and all this stuff, but you're going to get a lot of good feedback. And what they're going to do is they're going to then tweak the system. They're going to mess around with it. They're probably going to end up finding more things to not flag. Content creators are going to then probably ship in samples of their sound saying, hey, this is allowed on Twitch. We don't mind this being on Twitch. We don't mind this being on your service. Don't flag this, don't flag this. So they're going to have a more sort of solid library if they did a more open forum. And then once they do that, then the system is tweaked. It's basically patched, so it's like version 2.0 almost at this point. Then they make it live on a certain day. And you know what? If it messes up, I know that drives me crazy. I know it drives other people crazy, but at least we were expecting it. And then it's not like, oh my god, what the heck's going on here? This system's broken, blah, 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 blah. We knew it was coming. We had people that were able to adapt to it. They were able to get ready. They were able to change their music up, be able to get like open source project music and whatever the heck else people do now. So that's basically my 2 cents on this whole topic here, guys. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that great stuff. Tackle this issue in the comments, and we'll be checking out the comments for a great conversation down there later on. And we'll see you in the next episode of The Bias Babble.